we in Oronite continue to advocate a systems approach which involves simultaneously optimizing technology development across the additive lubricant OEM value chain to arrive at solutions that might not be identified or feasible if individual companies worked completely independently. With an increase in diversity of engine types and fuel choices, OEMs, government agencies, fuel, lubricant, and additive companies are challenged with where to focus their technology resources. Unless an unforeseen disruptive technology emerges as a more compelling economic alternative, internal combustion engines running on hydrocarbon fuels will remain dominant well into the future because of their low cost and the massive and highly efficient infrastructure in place to distribute these fuels. The inescapable economic reality is that huge capital investments would be required to introduce any new alternative fuel option on a broad commercial scale, and the economics would be extremely challenged due to prolonged low utilization. Happily, as I will discuss, substantial further improvements in both fuel economy and emissions reduction are well within the reach of internal combustion engines running on hydrocarbon fuels if we can stay focused on realizing these improvements. In fact, the point of view with regard to transportation fuels has been strongly endorsed by a recent major study looking in depth at. The committee was asked to examine opportunities to accelerate future prospects through 2050 for transportation fuels and vehicles. They were further asked to address fuel demand, supply, infrastructure, and technology. They were asked to consider economic competitiveness, energy security, and the environment. And finally, to provide advice on pathways for integrating new fuels and vehicles and recommended actions to stimulate technological advances and market conditions needed to reduce greenhouse gases by 50% by the year 2050. The NPC study predicts that significant improvements in fuels and vehicles can be achieved and that substantial transition hurdles can be overcome. The study, however, does not provide a perspective as to the likelihood, cost, or timing of these transitions. The study involved over 300 participants that included government, non-governmental agencies, OEMs, fuel companies, lubricant companies, additive companies, and a wealth of others. And I think that's what makes this study most interesting. Each one of those participants, and I can assure you, Oronite included, came in with our own point of view and a perspective, and inherently probably a bias, driven by altruistic motives or bottom line realities. And the challenge of the study was to meld all that together and to come out with the most objective, consensus-based viewpoints as possible. And I'll use that study as the foundation for most of my remaining comments this morning.